Okay. So in this video, I'm going to solve a problem that will illustrate the application of the concepts that we have just learned from the previous videos. No? Yung humidity, relative humidity, uh, C sub S, B sub H, and the psychrometric chart.
Somebody unboxing it. Somebody will say, oh, Tommy. What? Now work? Now works? I may get you. I may get you. Hello, I'm coming you. I'm coming.
Okay. So this problem illustrate the application of the previous concepts that we have discussed: humidity, relative humidity, C sub S, B sub H, no? And also the application of the psychrometric chart. So we're going to consider a continuous dryer. This is designed to produce 20,000 kilogram of product containing 5% water in a 24-hour period. The product enters the dryer with 35% water. The air used for drying has an inlet temperature of 20 degrees Celsius and it has a relative humidity of 45%. And it is preheated to 55 degrees Celsius before it is fed to the dryer. The air leaves the dryer fully saturated at 32 degrees Celsius. So probably before we read the question, as you can see, there are several questions. So in this particular page, there are 4 questions. So on the next slide, there will be another 4. So in total, there are 8 multiple choice questions in this problem. This is an old board problem. This is what they call the situational problem. You only have one set of given, pero you have 8 multiple choice questions. So that's why the chemical engineering board exam is relatively hard, because they really give complicated problems with long solutions. They just ask lots of multiple choice questions. Unlike the other board exam, which in which probably they give only a single multiple choice for a single problem. Okay. So first, let's try to illustrate the situation. Okay. So we have a dryer. This is a continuous dryer. Tapos this is producing 20,000 kilogram of product for every 24 hours. Okay? Tapos the moisture content, siyempre this is dryer, that's why the moisture content is relevant, no? So the moisture content of the product is 5%. Okay. Initially, the moisture of content of the raw material before it enters the dryer. Let's call this zero feed, your F, is 35% water. Contains 35%. Okay. So generally for a dryer to work, imagine niyo meron kayong raw material. In order for this to be dried, generally you mix this with dry air. So the dry air enters right here. and then it goes out on the other together with the product. Ano? So basically, the dry air carries the water or removes the water from the feed. So that results to drying. No? So the problem says that the air coming out of the dryer is saturated. You still remember the concept of when you say you have saturated air? So it is a kind of air wherein it holds the maximum amount of water. Ano? And then the temperature is 32 degrees Celsius. So another characteristic, mathematically, another characteristic of saturated air is that the P-saturated water, H2O, is equals to PH2O. If you still remember our discussion, if you watched the videos earlier. Ano? Okay. So another information from the problem is that before the air enters the dryer, we have a preheater. It passes through a preheater. There's another equipment called the preheater where the air passes. So initially, the temperature of air is 25 degrees Celsius. And then paglabas sa preheater, it's already it's already 55. I think it's just 20. Ano? So it's 20. Sorry, this is 20. So this is supposed to be 20. And then paglabas niya sa preheater, it's hotter at 55 degrees Celsius. And also the other information is that the relative humidity is 45%. Okay, so I hope at this point you can picture out the process. Ano? You have preheated air, tapos you mix this with the feed. Okay, the feed is 35% water. So both the air and the feed goes into the dryer. So the air removes the water from the feed. So the product contains only 5% water, and then the air becomes saturated air. It's saturated with water. Okay, so I hope at this point you can imagine the problem. So the first question is, what is the mass flow rate of dry 0% moisture solid? So it's quite it's quite practical. It's quite a common sense. We just need to remove the water from the product, and you will have the mass flow rate of dry solid. No? So for number one, you just simply, di ba, you have 20,000 kilogram. See, if you're going to look at the choices, all of the choices is in kilogram per hour. So you just divide the 20,000 kilogram with 24 hours. Pero this still contains the 5% water. So you need to remove the water. So just multiply this by 0.9. So you're supposed to get something like 792 kilogram per hour. Okay, so this is letter A. Okay. If we get this one, let's try to solve number 2. Number 2, what is the feed rate of the wet solid? Okay. That is 35% moisture to the dryer. I'm going to erase this. Okay. So what we have is the answer to letter A. You know, the total solid is 792 kilogram per hour. So we're just going to use a a a converting factor, ano, to calculate number 2. So for number 2, let's start with 792 kilogram per hour. This is the total amount of solid, no? Dry solid, leaving the dryer. Okay. So let's convert this to a 35% 35% moisture material. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply this with a conversion factor. So if you have a 30, imagine it, if you have a 35% material or raw material, ibig sabihin for every 100 kilogram of material, you have 65 kilogram of dry solid. Kasi the 35 kilogram is water. So the total weight of material is 100 kilogram raw material, ano? Or feed. Okay, so when you do this, you can see that the kilogram dry solid will cancel out. Will cancel out. So the answer will be kilogram feed per hour. So this is 1,218. So this is letter B, ano? Okay. Number 3. This is number 3. What is the rate of removal of water from the wet solid in the dryer? So if you will just imagine, ano, it is asking you to find the amount of water removed from the feed. So how are you going to solve for that? It's basically the total amount of product minus the amount of feed, you're going to get the amount of water removed per hour. Okay? Or simply perform an overall mass balance. Ano ba? Base is 1 hour. So it would be the amount of product. Our answer for letter this one, 20,000 divided by 24 hours. Okay? Minus the feed will give you the amount of water. It's that simple. Number 3 is that simple. Ano? So let me erase again this. I hope you can follow my solution. Okay, so number 3. What is the rate of removal of water? It's simply 20,000. This is the amount of product. This one is lower. This one is lower. So ito yung minus natin. So it would be the answer for number 2, which is 1,218 kilogram per hour, or simply 1,218. And then subtract the amount of product. This is our feed, ano? Subtract the amount of product, which is 20,000 kilogram for every 24 hours. So you'll probably get something like 385, ano? 385 kilogram water per hour. So this is letter A. Number 3 is letter A. So number 4. Number 4, kailangan nyo nang gamitin dito yung mga concept nyo ng humidity. Ano? Number 4 is what is the moisture content of the air entering the dryer. So, tingnan niyo yung tingnan niyo yung mga choices. All of them, ang unit nila ay kilogram water per kilogram dry air. Ibig sabihin, kailangan natin i-calculate yung humidity. So, ang given sa atin is ang temperature niya, 20 degrees Celsius, tapos 45% ang humidity. So, if you still remember the humidity equation, it's 18/29 times pH2O divided by P minus pH2O. So, wala tayong pH2O. Walang given na pressure, so ang gagamitin nating PI, 1 atmosphere or 101.325 kilopascal. So, the first step is to find pH2O. So, just take note of the temperature. It's 20 degrees Celsius. So just use the steam table to get the P saturated of water. Okay. And then just multiply it by 0.45. Relative humidity concept. Just multiply it with 0.45. And then when you get the pH2O, just simply use the humidity equation. Okay, so let me first erase this. I think we need more space. So I'm just going to share I'm just going to share a whiteboard. Okay, so we're trying to solve number 4. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to find P star H2O. So the temperature is 20 degrees Celsius. We're going to use a steam table. This is the other term for this thermodynamic table of water. So at T is equals 20 degrees Celsius, P star H2O is 2.337 kPa. Okay? Tapos, try to use, we have 45%, RH is given to be 45%. So, and then RH is simply pH2O, ito yung kailangan natin hanapin, divided by P star H2O times 100%. So, 45 pH2O, P star H2O is 2.337 times 100%. Basically, it's 2.337 times 0.45. So, you'll be able to get pH2O is equal to 1.05165. Sa exam, para maiwasan nyo yung error sa rounding off, kung hindi kayo nag-store, use as much decimal as you can sa intermediate calculation. Huwag kayo magra-round off. Yun lang naman yun. Huwag kayo magra-round off. So this is in kilopascal. Tapos, let's try. Now, we can now calculate humidity. Humidity is 18/29 times pH2O divided by P minus pH2O. So, humidity is 18/29 times pH2O is 1.05165. This is in kilopascal. So, ang gagamitin natin pressure is 101.325 minus 1.05165. So, you're supposed to get something like 0.0065. Unit nito ay kilogram water per kilogram. Okay? So, how many steps? Isa, kinuha muna natin yung P star H2 using a steam table. And I'm going to send you a steam table in, in DBL. Pero kung may handbook kayo, meron din doon. May badness kayo. Hindi ko alam kung may termo na kayo, may badness, meron din yun. Yung mga libro meron din. Ano? Tapos, we calculated pH2O using the definition of relative humidity. So this is the second step. And then finally, use the humidity definition or humidity equation to calculate humidity. So tatlong step, no? Okay. So 0.0065. Okay, so ito yung PowerPoint natin. Ano, 0.0065. So the final answer for number 4 is letter D. Okay, so let's continue answering this question. Okay. So number 5. Number 5, what is the relative humidity of the air entering the dryer? So for this problem, when it is asking for relative humidity, we can use the psychrometric chart. Basically what happens is when you increase the temperature, when you hit something, when you hit air, its humidity will not change. So constant lang yun. So what happens is that the P star H2O increases as temperature increases. So that's why the relative humidity decreases. So initially you have 45% ang relative humidity. So when you increase the temperature and then the amount of water is not changing, you will have a lower relative humidity. So for you to get the exact answer for number 5, I'm going to use a psychrometric chart. So for number 5, initially the temperature is 20 degrees Celsius. Tapos the relative humidity is 0.065. So it's around here. This is 10. So that's around 6.5. Yung 6.5. So pag init nyo, 255, constant lang yung humidity. Constant yung humidity. Okay? Ito yun. Tapos, basically, ito yung point. Ito yung point na hanapin natin yung relative humidity. So sabi ko nga sa inyo kanina, itong mga curves na to, ito yung relative humidity curve. So 1%, 2%, 3%, 4%, 5%, 6%, 7%. So as you can see, saktong-sakto siya dun sa 7% pag in-extend nyo. So that's why the answer for number 5 is 7% by using a psychrometric chart. Yun pa yung isang gamit itong psychrometric chart. Aside from the wet bulb. Pero actually, you can use the steam table to answer that question. Pero if you wanted a more accurate answer, kasi sila ang ginagamit ng mga examiner pag percent relative humidity, psychrometric chart. So mas accurate yung sagot dito. Pag ginamitan nyo ng steam table, pwede rin, mga 6 point something lang yung lumalabas. Ito, exactong 7. Kitang-kitang 7. Okay. Let's go back to the problem. Let's answer number 6. So question number 6 is, what is the moisture content of the air leaving the dryer? So if you still remember, the air leaving the dryer, its temperature is 32 degrees Celsius, tapos saturated siya. Ito number 6, sinasagutan natin. What is the moisture content of the air leaving the dryer? So, again, pag tinignan nyo yung choices, lahat ng units, kilogram water per kilogram dry air. So, humidity rin to. Number 6, humidity rin yung kailangan natin i-calculate. So, I guess, mas maganda kung magwa-whiteboard tayo. Ganun din yun. Ano, first step, kunin muna natin yung P star H2O at 32 degrees Celsius using the steam table. So, okay. So, temperature is 32 degrees Celsius. We're supposed to get P star H2O using the steam table. Ano? So at 32 degrees Celsius, P star H2O is 4.753. Ang special lang dito kasi saturated siya. Saturated air. Ano? Pag saturated air, automatic, parang ano to, 100% yung RH niya. So ang consequence niyan ay kung ano yung P star H2O, equal yun sa PH2O. Yung saturated equal dun sa actual partial pressure ng water. So, the steam table shows that at 32 degrees Celsius, pH2O or P star H2O is equals to 4.753 kPa. Okay, so after getting this, diretso na, no? We can now calculate humidity. So using the same formula, 18 over 29 times pH2O divided by P minus pH2O, do we get? Say 101.325 minus 4.753 kPa. So, ano ng enthalpy natin? 0.031 kilogram water per kilogram dryer. Okay, so this is the answer. Na? For number, this is number 6. I hope you can follow what I'm. So dalawang step ano, get the use the steam table to get the saturated pressure of air, and then since it is saturated air, this is equal to pH2O. That's the first step. And then the second step is use the humidity equation to calculate humidity. So the answer is 0.031. Okay, so okay, so letter C, no? So the answer is letter C for number 6. Okay, number 7. What volumetric flow rate of air must be fed to the preheater? So, so pag ganito na yung tanong, volumetric flow rate na yung tinatanong, I think you need to calculate BH, the humid volume. So, ang humid volume kasi ang unit nun ay cubic meter per kilogram dry air. So, by performing mass balance, we can get the mass flow rate of air. And then you simply multiply that with BH, you're going to get the volumetric flow rate of air. Ganun yung technique dito sa number 7, no? So, this particular question, illustrate the application of the concept of humid volume. Okay, so number 7. Okay, I'm going to share another whiteboard. Medyo mahaba yung solution dito. Number 7. Okay. So I'm going to calculate the BH first, the humid volume. Cubic meter kailangan natin, ano? So yung gagamitin natin yung 22.415. Ang tanong ay yung cubic meter daw ng air na pumapasok sa preheater. So, temperature divided by 273. Kasi di ba 20 degrees Celsius tayo, no? So, 273. Tapos 1 divided by 29 plus humidity divided by 18. Okay, you still remember the variables? Value 20. So 20 degrees Celsius plus 273 divided by 273. Tapos 1 over 29. Ang humidity natin sa air ay 0.0065 compressed air divided by 18. Ang tinatanong kasi yung cubic meter per second na pumapasok sa preheater. Okay, so when you solve this using a calculator, the humid volume would be equal to 0.8382. Okay, cubic meter per kilogram dry air. Okay. So the next step is we need to find the kilogram dry air per second or per hour. Ano? So basically, ganito yung ano. Let me illustrate the situation. If you still remember, we have 385 kilogram per hour of water that goes into the air. No? So tapos yung air naman, let X, no, this is X, ano? So let X be the flow rate of dry air. So this is kilogram dry air per hour. Ayan. That goes into the dryer, ano? So ito X, tapos ito X pa rin. Kasi dry air naman siya eh. No? Hindi naman siya magbabago. Kahit na nalagdagan siya ng water, yung dry air lang naman yung binibilang natin. And then, we're going to use the humidity data, yung dalawang humidity data. Initially, yung pumapasok dito, halimbawa H1, this is 0.0065 kilogram dry air, kilogram water per kilogram dry air. Dito, H2, if you still remember, this is 0.031 kilogram water per kilogram. So just perform a water balance. Ano? So 1 hour ang ating basis. Di ba? So just perform a water balance. If we're going to perform a water balance, this is just simply 385 kilogram water is equals to X times 0.031 minus 0.0065. I hope you can imagine this equation. Ano? Parang ito yung lumalabas, tapos ito at saka ito, sila yung dalawa yung pumapasok. Ito pumapasok, 385, plus yung 0.0065 pumapasok din. So pag nilipat nyo yung positive doon, tapos ito yung lumalabas, 0.031. So tama naman yung units yan, no? Kasi 0.031 kilogram water per kilogram dry air times X. X is kilogram dry air per hour. So as you can see, magka-cancel lang yung kilogram dry air. So kilogram water per hour yan. Ito kilogram water per hour din yung 380. So just simply solve for X. Ang unit ng X would be this one. Kilogram dry air per hour. So X is equal to 15,714. Okay? So as you can see, pag pinag-multiply nyo itong dalawa, you will get kilogram, the kilogram dry air will cancel out. and you will have the cubic meter per hour. Yung kasing nasa choices ay per second. So just divide this by 3,600. Ano? So finally, our answer would be 0.8382. Okay, so times 15,714. Okay, and then divided by 3,600 seconds. So the final, I hope you can follow try to cancel out the units. So that the units will be meter cube per second. So the final answer is around 3.7. 3.7 cubic meter per second. I hope you can follow this. Ano? So the first step is to calculate the humid volume. The second step is this water balance. Ano? We use, medyo unique lang nga yung water balance dito. We use humidity, the concept of humidity in the water balance. So this is the second step. So once you find the mass flow rate of dry air, no? We just simply multiply. So this is the third step, ano? Multiply mo lamang siya dun sa BH. So mass flow rate times BH conversion, we're going to get the 3.7 cubic meter per second. I hope you get this one, understand this one. Okay, the last question. The last question is, what is the rate at which heat is added in the preheater? So basically, in order to solve number 8, gagamit lang tayo ng M dot CS times delta T. So yung M dot dito sa number 8, yung nakalculate din natin M dot kanina nung nag-water balance tayo. Yun yung 15,714 kilogram dry air per hour. Ang wala tayo CS, ay kakalculate lang natin yung CS. So SI unit, yung 1.005 plus 1.88 H. Tapos yun na, we can now calculate Q. Q is MCS times delta T. Okay, so again, let me share a whiteboard to calculate number 8. So number 8. Okay, so first let's calculate CS. For SI, this is 1.005 plus 1.88 H. So ang question dito is how much heat are you going to add to the preheater so that the temperature of the air will become 55 from 20 degrees Celsius. So the H that we're going to use here is the 0.0065. Ano? Yung pumapasok. So C sub S is 1.005 plus 1.88. And then H is 0.0065. So C sub S, or the humid heat, is 1.01722. Okay, so ang unit nito is kilojoules per kilogram dry air, okay, per Kelvin. Tapos our equation for the amount of heat is simply Q, okay, times M, or M dot, times C sub S times delta T. Ito naman yung standard equation for heat. Ano? I hope you're familiar with this equation. This is just the same as MCP delta T or MSH delta T. Pare-pares lang yan. O kung may alam ko sa thermodynamic, actually mas proper med dot yan. M dot, Q dot. This is mass flow rate, this is heat rate. No? Kaya kilowatt yung magiging unit nito per unit time. Anyway, ang mass flow rate natin, if you still remember, that's 15,714 kilogram per hour of dry air. Okay. Tapos multiply natin yung CS natin, 1.01722. This is in kilojoules per kilogram dry air per Kelvin. And then finally, delta T. We increase the temperature from 55 degrees to 55 degrees Celsius from 20. Okay? So, ang problema natin dito yung R kasi tignan nyo, magka-cancel to. Tapos ito Kelvin at saka degrees Celsius, pwede nyo i-cancel. Ano? The conversion will, the conversion of degrees Celsius and Kelvin pag range, nagka-cancel out lang yan. So, pwede nyo i-cancel yung K at saka yung degrees Celsius. So, it's kilojoules per hour. Yung, kita nyo yung choices kanina, kilowatts. So, we need to convert R to second. Ano? Simply by dividing this with 3,600. Ano? Divide lang natin ng 3,600 seconds per hour. So yun, kilowatts na siya kasi kilojoules per second. Kilowatts na yung lalabas dito. Okay. So you're supposed to get 155 kilowatts. Okay, so 155 kilowatts. Okay, so let's letter B. Ano? So the final answer is letter B. Dito, it's letter D. 3.7, then letter B. So I hope you get the basic equation. Ano? Pag heat yung hinahanap, Q is equals to MCS delta T. Okay? Tapos nakita nyo rin yung gamit ng humid volume. Ano? This is used to convert from mass flow rate to volumetric flow rate. Usually kasi ang measure sa planta, volumetric flow rate. Tapos pag mag-heat balance ang kailangan ay mass flow rate. So yun yung practical application ng humid volume. Dito naman nakita nyo yung gamit ng CS, ng humid heat, sa calculation naman ng heat. So I hope you follow the solution. Okay, so I think this is the last video for this course, and then I'm going to post the final exam soon. The deadline for the final exam is on June 30. Kung ano yung deadline ng mga exercises, di ko na matandaan yung oras eh. Is it 12 a.m. or 12 p.m.? So check na lang natin. Basta June 30 yung deadline ng final exam. Ano? So I hope you can finish all the requirements and you can answer all the exercises, yung mga may kulang pa ng exercise. Tapos another thing, yung grade na lumalabas sa Blackboard, hindi talaga siya yung ongoing na total, no? So ang kino-consider lang kasi na Blackboard kung ano lang yung nagawa nyo, dinidivide niya lang nung nagawa nyo, no? So for example, halimbawa, nakagawa ka ng 2 exercise, parehong 100%. Pero the rest, hindi mo na ginawa. Wala kang prelims, hindi mo ginawa yung prelims, hindi mo ginawa yung midterm. Still, yung CS mo ay 1.0. Actually, pag kinilik mo yung 1.0, lalabas doon, 100 ka pa rin. Ano? Pag kinilik mo yon, lumalabas yung raw score. So, medyo tama siya, CS siya, pero hindi talaga niya kinakount yung actual na scores na na-gain mo. Ano? Kung by June 30 pa lalabas yung actual score. Kasi by June 30, lahat ng mga hindi nyo nagawa, isi-zero na niya. So, sa June 30 pa talaga lalabas yung actual na score niyo. Kaya lang deadline na yon. So, pag mas mababa kayo sa 60, by June 30, IP na kayo. Wala namang problema ng IP. Diba? Ang IP naman hindi mag-a-appear sa sa TOR nyo. Temporary grade lang naman yun. Parang you still have 2 months to complete. So basically in that 2 months, you can still answer the exercises and the prelims, the midterm, and the finals para magkaroon ng passing grade. Okay, so I hope I clarify those things. So, try to answer the finals and also the midterm. Meron pang hindi nagsasagot ng midterm. Okay, remember the deadline is on June 30.